Kouri Richins was the picture-perfect grieving widow, a devoted mother of 3 boys who lost her husband on a regular night to fentanyl poisoning. Heartbroken, she poured her pain into a children's book about coping with loss. This was a book she promoted on TV, telling the world how she was helping her sons talk to their angel daddy in heaven. The whole of America embraced her story. But behind the book and the tears was a calculated plan to kill her husband and steal his millions of dollars so that she could run away with her boyfriend. This is Stateside Unsolved Cases, where we peel back the layers of America's most deceptive crimes. Tonight, the Utah real estate agent who allegedly poisoned her millionaire husband with a lethal dose of fentanyl to steal millions in life insurance and his estate, then wrote a grief book to make the world pity her as the perfect widow. Kouri Richins claimed it was a tragic loss, but the evidence tells a very different story. So how does a mother go from reading bedtime stories to allegedly murdering the father of her 3 children for money? And how did one children's book become the ultimate cover? Stay with us. We're going to cover the entire story, with the financial schemes, the prior failed attempts at killing him, the forensic evidence, the interrogation moments, and the courtroom battle that just ended in 2026. But to fully understand where we stand, we have to start at the beginning of the marriage itself. Kouri and Eric Richins met and married in 2008. They signed a prenup before the wedding, standard protection for a young couple building a future together. Eric was ambitious and hardworking, and, over the years, built a successful real estate and house-flipping business in the Kamas, Utah area. The couple had 3 boys, and on paper, they looked like the perfect American dream. But behind the closed doors of a happy home, cracks were forming. It was later explained that Eric had an affair, and so the couple went to therapy to try to repair the damage. During that difficult period, Eric feared for the life he had built and made a quiet but significant move. He secretly transferred the family home and several properties into a trust to protect them from potential future claims. Kouri, his wife, was not told. But that was not all he did. He had changed his next of kin on several of his assets to his younger sister, Amy Richins. Ladies and gentlemen, please take note of this, because we are coming back to this decision during the investigation process. And so, while Eric was trying to rebuild trust, Kouri was quietly building something else. She had started her own house-flipping side business. At first, it thrived alongside Eric's success, but over time, the market shifted. Many of her projects stalled, and Kouri found herself drowning in mounting debt. The financial pressure became crushing. And there was another secret layer Eric did not know about. Because while Eric was working to save the marriage, Kouri had begun a passionate affair with a man named Robert Joshua, someone connected to her work. In private messages later recovered, she wrote to him, "I'm in love with you. I would rather have you than my husband, who is the father to my children." There are other messages too, like this one and this one. Please feel free to pause the video and read them. And yes, these are all from the case file. Let's continue. You see, the marriage was now a house of cards, with either party thinking of their assets. There was the initial prenup, and now there was a secret trust, failing businesses, hidden debt, and mutual infidelity. Because of the prenup, Kouri could not ask for a divorce. It would mean that she was leaving the relationship with nothing but the debts she had accumulated as a result of her failing business. But if she were leaving the relationship a widow, the assets and wealth should naturally fall into her lap as next of kin. I am sure you all see where this is going. Basically, Eric was becoming more useful to Kouri dead than alive. His life insurance policies were substantial, and the properties in the trust would become fully accessible to her as the surviving spouse. Naturally, Rouri acted. 2 separate poisoning attempts followed. The first occurred earlier in 2021, when Eric nearly died after eating a sandwich that his wife had fed him, not knowing it had been laced with fentanyl. The second attempt on Eric's life came later, again with fentanyl. Both times, he survived. Barely. She managed to get away without suspicion both times. Yet Kouri continued to present herself publicly as the devoted wife and mother. She promoted her house-flipping ventures and kept the family image intact. Viewers, imagine living in that kind of double life. Therapy sessions trying to heal a marriage while secretly plotting to end it for financial survival. How long do you think the mask can hold before the weight of debt, resentment, and hidden affairs forces a breaking point? The breaking point came on the night of March 3rd, 2022. March 3rd, 2022, late evening in the Richins family home in Kamas, Utah. Eric Richins had survived 2 prior poisoning attempts involving fentanyl, both times recovering after near-fatal incidents. The first came earlier in 2021 when he nearly died after eating a sandwich later confirmed to contain the drug. The second followed a similar pattern. Both times, Eric lived. Barely. That night, Kouri prepared a drink for Eric. It was a Moscow Mule cocktail. Into it went a lethal dose of fentanyl, 5 times anything she had ever done. He consumed it. Within a short time, he collapsed. Instead of rushing to his side, calling for help immediately, or attempting CPR, Kouri walked into one of the children's rooms, closed the door, and dialed 911 from there. When dispatch asked questions, Kouri answered from the bedroom, staying there the entire call. She did not return to Eric, did not check his pulse again, and did not try to save him. Instead, she pretended to cry and show confusion. The paramedics arrived to find Eric already deceased from acute fentanyl toxicity. The official cause of death was initially listed as accidental overdose, and Kouri played the grieving widow perfectly. Devastated, tearful, focused on her boys. She began speaking publicly about loss, grief, and healing. This was when she wrote and published a children's book titled Are You With Me? A gentle story about a child learning to talk to his father in heaven after losing him. The book was marketed as a healing tool for her 3 boys and for other families facing loss. She promoted it everywhere, in TV interviews, on social media, and at local events. She appeared tearful and composed, speaking about grief, love, and moving forward. The public responded with sympathy, donations, messages of support, and praise for her strength as a single mom. The book sold copies and gained attention as an inspirational story. However, behind the scenes, a lot of things were happening. Rouri had been moving suspiciously, and Eric's family was onto her. And this led to Rouri getting into a fight with Amy, Eric's sister, over a certain safe containing the house documents and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Amy argued that she was written as Eric's next of kin, and therefore everything in the house was under her name, including his safe and everything in it, and Rouri had no right to it. This fight was so intense that Rouri actually wounded Amy, and Amy immediately pressed charges. But there was more. Behind the scenes, Rouri's financial motive was clear. Eric's death had triggered multiple life insurance payouts, several of which were proven in court to have been done behind his back. She had actually forged his signature so that she could get paid. We are talking millions in total. Unfortunately, for Rouri, Eric's death was found to be very suspicious. The autopsy report came back as poisoning, and the investigations began. Investigators and prosecutors began piecing together financial records, Kouri's failing house-flipping business, and her mounting debt. Eric's life insurance policies paid out millions after his death, with the prenup in place and the properties secretly held in trust, unknown to Kouri until after his death. She gained full control of the estate as the surviving spouse. Eric dead was worth far more to her than Eric alive. The 2 prior almost fatal attempts on Eric's life now took on new meaning. Both had occurred when the couple was in conflict, and records showed that both involved the same drug. In 2023, investigators had had enough. Kouri was taken into custody on suspicion of murdering her husband. Bail was denied, and she was deemed a flight risk and a danger to the community, given the premeditation evidence. The woman the world saw reading bedtime stories to grieving children was now behind bars, accused of poisoning her husband twice before succeeding on the third try, all for financial gain. But if you think that is all, then what happens next will shock you. The trial in Summit County District Court became a meticulous unraveling of Kouri Richins' public image versus the private reality. Prosecutors presented a clear, layered case. This was not a tragic overdose. It was premeditated murder for financial gain. Furthermore, an investigator testified that they had apprehended a suspect known as CL. She had worked for Kouri as a maid. CL was the type to have a history of rolling with the wrong crowd, and Rouri knew it. The investigator said CL told them that Rouri had asked her for fentanyl on more than one occasion and reportedly asked for a stronger dose after the first incident. CL told the investigator she had sold Kouri the fentanyl and that the first purchase aligned with the sandwich poisoning that nearly killed Eric. Kouri's boyfriend, Robert Joshua, provided another layer. He testified in court that she had confided in him repeatedly. She was tired of the marriage, felt trapped, and saw Eric as an obstacle. The woman the world saw reading bedtime stories to grieving children was now behind bars, accused of poisoning her husband twice before succeeding on the third try, all for financial gain. Viewers, consider the contrast. A mother promoting a book about eternal love and loss, while allegedly planning the permanent loss of her children's father for millions. Does the public persona make the motive harder to believe, or does it make the deception even more chilling? The defense countered that Eric's death was an accidental overdose or suicide, stating that he had a history of abusing painkillers, and perhaps his usual source had sold him the wrong thing. They also highlighted Kouri's grief, the book as genuine healing, and questioned witness credibility, CL's motives, and Joshua's bias. But the jury disagreed. After weeks of testimony, exhibits, and deliberation, Kouri Richins was convicted on murder charges, first degree or aggravated depending on exact counts, and related felonies, insurance fraud, forgery, and poisoning. As of March of 2026, sentencing is. She had been found guilty of all charges and is now facing jail time to life. The children are now raised by the extended family. Viewers, after seeing the full layers, financial desperation, 2 failed poisonings, a lethal third dose, a call from another room, millions in insurance, a secret affair, and a book that turned grief into profit, does the verdict feel inevitable? Or do you see any cracks that could support reasonable doubt? What piece of testimony or evidence was most damning for you? Thanks for staying with us on Stateside Unsolved Cases for this deep, layered look at the Kouri Richins case. A husband poisoned for money. 3 boys now left without their father. A woman who allegedly turned grief into profit, while the truth stayed hidden until the evidence layers could no longer be ignored. If this case gripped you, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into America's most deceptive crimes. Drop a comment below. After all these layers, do you believe the jury reached the inevitable verdict, or is there enough room for reasonable doubt? What piece of evidence or testimony was most damning for you? The maid's fentanyl sales, the boyfriend's messages, the 911 call from another room, or the financial windfall? We read every comment. They help shape how we approach these complex, layered cases. One final note: having reliable security, cameras inside or outside, can capture truth, deter threats, or provide clarity when deception is at play. I've linked some top-rated CCTV and doorbell systems in the comments below. Brands like Ring, Arlo, Wise, Blink, and Nest with excellent night vision, motion alerts, and easy setup. Click those affiliate links to check current deals and protect what matters. Thanks for supporting the channel if you do. Stay safe out there, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.